Hi, Scott here from Pillow Partners, and in this video I'm going to be covering the topic of property sourcing, and we're going to be focusing on the short-term letting or holiday home market. Firstly, to start, I just want to cover why would people invest in this market as opposed to traditional buy-to-let. So when we say short-term lettings, we mean nightly lets, corporate lettings, self-catering accommodation, holiday lettings. This is a type of market. We're not putting a tenant in a normal tenancy agreement and doing 6 months rentals and things like that. It's basically on a nightly rate. So very much like a hotel, but rather than owning a hotel, you're owning your own little private short-term lettings business. So very, very interesting sector to be in at the moment. So why go into short-term lettings and holiday lettings? Well, you're going to get a higher yield, a much higher yield than you would get from traditional buy-to-let investment if you buy the right properties. So you should really we wouldn't be advising to buy anything unless you were going to get double the amount of profit. So not income, but certainly profit than you would from a traditional buy-to-let thing. We can get up to our best one that we've done is 7 times profit. We've taken a buy-to-let that was generating a certain amount of profit for that particular owner, turned it into short-term lettings, and we've pretty much got the profit 7 times higher. So this is an example. Now, it's not particularly an extreme example, it's very realistic. It depends what segment of the short-term letting market you're going in, but you're definitely going to earn much more money than you would in a traditional buy-to-let market. There's also less legislation, so we don't need to worry about tenants' rights, all this type of thing. People are staying there for a holiday. There's not as much legislation you need to deal with. It's not a regulated market as much as lettings is, and as lettings is going to be. So certainly the future legislation involved in the traditional lettings market is something we definitely need to consider. It's not simple, but again, it's not as onerous on the owner. Certainly going to be more stable. If you're buying in the right areas where there's going to be your target demographic, then certainly, unless something massive changes in the economy, you're going to always get the bookings. We're not going to get you to source something that is maybe going to get high occupancy levels. The buy-to-let market, there's lots of things happening there, but the short-term lettings market, people will always come to the areas. Now, if we speak about Ayrshire and Scotland, people will always come to Ayrshire. It's one of the areas we invest in. There's 50 golf courses within a half an hour drive of our office. There's lots of tourism, hospitality, lots of things happening. Buying the right areas, you will always have demand. So we see it as more stable. The next thing is a resale. If house prices fall or go up or do whatever, if there's lots of demand, you might have trouble selling your buy-to-let because it is only a buy-to-let. Nobody's buying it in the goodwill or the income of that there's a tenant in place. We do, in the estate agency side, we sell properties with tenants in place. You don't get that much higher. It just makes it more attractive, but having a tenant in place that's generating an income for the traditional buy-to-let market doesn't always get you a higher price. Might make it sell quicker, but if you're selling your holiday home business with, we're doing one just now, a sales going through, there's £10,000 of income for this year. You're selling somebody a ready-made business, it's all set up, it's good to go, and they've already got £10,000 worth of income booked in for the year. And that's pretty stable income as well. So you're actually selling a business, opens it up to a slightly different demographic. You can always sell it as a normal property, but you're maximising your chances of the resale and getting a good high-end resale value. The cool thing about this is you can actually use it for private rented. If you're getting your little traditional buy-to-let above a shop or in an area that's going to yield pretty high, chances are you don't want to actually live there. And the chances are you can't because there's a tenant in place. So you need a tenant in place. But if you've got your little holiday rental along the coast, you can use it for your friends, family, give it to business colleagues, you can give them it at discounted rates, but you can use it yourself. It's your little escape. You're buying a holiday home, and we're not talking about holiday homes in Spain or Croatia or any of these dodgy places. It's somewhere that you're actually going to use yourself. Predominantly in Scotland, but can be anywhere. So we see people buying 100% for investment. They don't want to use it at all, they don't care. Some people buying just to buy these properties and rent it out so that it gets them a free holiday home. For example, one in the banks of Loch Lomond, they just want it to pay for itself so that they can use it every second weekend. And some people, it's a good mix. Predominantly it's 75% investment. They want this to make money, but because it makes a much higher yield than the traditional buy-to-let, there is the opportunity to use it yourself 25% of the time and still get a good income out at the end of the year. So Finally, you know what, this is just simply more fun than buy-to-let. Some people like getting in and furnishing buy-to-lets or maybe doing a bit of decorating, but you're doing it once every 5 years. Is it that fun? And I can say that managing a portfolio of over 500 traditional buy-to-let properties, we don't see landlords having fun with them. It's not a fun thing to do. There is the odd exception to this, but you know, with holiday homes, it's about hospitality. It's not just property, it's creating cool experiences for the people, and landlords and owners like to put their own touches here, so you can actually go in, make things attractive, make it more attractive than your competitors in the area, and you can actually put your personal touch to a much higher degree than you would in a traditional buy-to-let property. We're furnishing these fully normally, so they need to be kitted out with everything, so they can be done in a specific style. And we see landlords having a lot of fun in this, and it makes it a project for them, so it's all pretty cool. So we're going on. Where do we start? Well, sourcing buy-to-lets is pretty easy. You can jump on Rightmove, you can ask a few letting agents what areas in high demand, you can maybe even buy stuff with tenants already in place to get that answer. And you know what, if you just ask around, do a little bit of market research, buy where everybody else is buying, you will get it 75% right. It makes you a mediocre landlord, it makes you the same as everybody else, you're not putting any industry secrets, knowledge or experience into it, you're simply just doing what the crowds do. And it makes you a mediocre landlord, and that's not a bad thing if you're marketing to the mass market demographic of tenants in your specific region. But it's totally different for holiday lets. Starting from scratch with no knowledge, you can get this badly wrong and end up with something that wouldn't rent or is going to have very low occupancy levels. So there's a few things you need to do to get it right. You need to get it in the right area. Buy-to-lets will rent, some people might be willing to travel, they might have a car, but for tourists and holiday people, they're just simply not going to go to the wrong area. They're going to be searching very, very defined, and if your property isn't in the right area, it's just going to sit empty. The next thing's the right property. So we've found the area, we know where we want to invest, you need to get the right property. What works for buy-to-let is unlikely to work for holiday homes and short-term lettings. You could have the best property in that area, the most expensive, fantastic property in the area you choose, it's still not be the right property. If it's not going to be attractive to your specific target market, whether that's tourists, golfers, workers, anybody that is going to that area for a specific purpose, you need to have the right property for them, and there's very unique things within a blueprint that means you need to get this right and spot on. So you can get that badly wrong. We've seen people doing it, they're bringing properties to us and we say we're going to manage them, but they're the wrong property. They need to do a little bit of work to get these right. The next thing's the right furnishings and the right layout internally. You can have a great property in a great area, but you know what, if your stuff that you have in it isn't right, guests are going to stay once and not come back. People are going to look at it online and they're not going to want to go to it. So you need to have it kitted out internally. And when we say furnishings, we mean certain things, the layout, the design, creating special spaces for people to enjoy in the property. So it's an all-encompassing term, but you need the inside right once you get the right property in the right area. And finally, to top this all off, it needs the right marketing. For buy-to-let, you can just pop it in Rightmove and a couple of other sites. Chances are you'll get it right. We get people putting it in Gumtree, putting a little ad in the window, people walking past. These things might work to a certain degree, but for holiday homes, it's not going to be people from the area. So local advertising is not going to work. They need to be put in the right sites. They're going to need the right photography. They're going to need the right descriptions. So the marketing is a key aspect to this, and I've seen people get it very, very wrong, and they're getting something like 25% occupancy. We've went in, taken over the management, totally changed the marketing, tweaked it, got it spot on, got it on point, and got that from 25%. And I think the actual number for that was 78%. We increased that within 12 months, so we managed to more than treble the occupancy levels there. Same property, exact nothing, didn't change anything inside, we just marketed it in the right places and attracted the right tenants. So, very complicated to get all these elements right and to make sure you're on point when it comes to sourcing, marketing, getting it furnished. This is where we come in, because we do pretty much everything for you at Pillow. So we take the idea from concepts. You've got an idea you want to invest, we do absolutely everything right through to getting this property on the market, managing it and getting you a solid income. So We have a process for this and I'll quickly run through it. Firstly, we look at your financials. How much cash do you have? Can we get a mortgage? Do we need a mortgage? How much money do you have to play with? What type of property are we looking for? We do a small business plan as well to give you the answers you need for how much is this going to earn you? So what's your return on investment? And find out what your financial goals are. We don't just let you buy one of these without an end goal in mind. So we need to get it right, because if we don't have your end goal, we can't find the right property. Next, we search the whole of market to find the ideal property for you. So you don't need to worry about areas or property. We do all this, we've done it. And you can go on and have a look at all our listings online to see the projects we're currently involved in, all the case studies, and the properties we're currently managing. And you can see all the elements I've previously mentioned about the right property, right area and the right marketing. You'll see these actually in play. So we search the whole market and find the widest range. It's not looking at Rightmove, it's off-market sales, it's contact, it's people that are wanting private sales, it's approaching people that own properties in the area that might not even be on the market. We literally knock on the door, cold call and say, how would you consider it? We send them letters, we interact, we put Facebook ads, we do a lot to find you the right property. So we don't just, it's all proactive, none of it's reactive, like just searching the Rightmove and the property sites. That doesn't get you the best deals. Because the next thing we do is we negotiate, and we always want to get you something below market value. So we always like to add a little bit of value in at the very start. We obviously charge a fee for sourcing. We don't do all this work and set you up with a ready built business for free. But what we do try to do is get you the property below market value and save our fees. At least the minimum of our fees we're going to save you. So it's effectively a free service. But looking here, at the time of making this video, the last project, we saved the owner 4 times the fee. So we got it such a below market value discount through our negotiations and private research of finding that person that we saved them 4 times the fee. So it's a no-brainer for that particular one, and we hope to make it a no-brainer prospect for yourself as well. So then we go into the planning stage. We've got the property, we plan it. How do we furnish it? What we're going to do to create this magical space? What things are we going to change? And I don't have time to go into the things that we do change and the things we insist on having in each property to make sure that they are going to be attractive. But there's hundreds and hundreds of different things on our checklist we look to make sure that this property is as it should be. So we're planning all this out in advance. Then is a setup. So we need to get this property physically working so we can help you furnish it, tell you exactly the item list that you're going to require, because it is going to be hundreds of items that you need, and you need to get it right. If somebody turns up and there's not a toaster or a microwave but pots and pans and silly little obscure things that before I did this I didn't even know, like serving dishes. I had absolutely no idea what serving dishes were, and had a basic concept of a baking tray. I just flung stuff in the oven and put stuff in a plate or ate it out the packet. But people, high quality guests are going to need all these little things. So I've learned a lot as well, and we've implemented this into what we do. Legislation and health and safety, you can't just fire in and do what you want. Like everything else in life, or every business, there's a lot of legislation and things you need to do. Don't bombard yourself with it. We take care of everything, do the health and safety checks, literature, get everything sorted. Big believer in systems and procedures, so we put a lot of effort. We write the guest books, we write the welcome for the guests, we do all the online marketing to inform guests once they sign up, all the marketing behind the scenes, everything that could possibly go wrong while the guests were there, we account for, we put logs, we put systems to make sure the guest knows what to do if they can't work the heating, need to take the bins out, need to work something, switch something on. It's all there ready for the guests to get informed of this in advance. So guests don't turn up and unhappy with your property. And this does take a lot of time, and it needs to be right. It's all about creating the customer experience, because we want the 5-star ratings at the end. We need the best customer ratings to get your property up the rank engines and the search engines. We need to get it at the top, and we need good ratings, and we do all that behind the scenes as well. So that's pretty much all the stuff we do to set it up. Set up, it's ready to go, boom. We mentioned before marketing. So it's not as easy as just sticking it in Rightmove. Nobody's going to see your property in Rightmove. It needs to be on the correct portals. It depends on the property. We will select the right portals and put it on. And you need to have an understanding, you need to have an account with these portals, and you need to understand the different markets and demographics and unique selling points that each of these have and each of these try to attract to. So the same schedule in one needs to be slightly tweaked. And we need to do all the pricing as well. So part of what we do is we price it right. And this price changes when you first get it on to attract people, to get the ratings, then we put it up and we try and increase it every single quarter to try and maximise your income. Seasonal pricing is important. If you imagine Easter weekend is going to be a lot more popular than a few weeks previous in the middle of a dank and deary February. So these things all need to be loaded into all the portals, make sure we're maximising your income while not turning people away by making it too expensive. We need great pictures, so we send a professional photographer around with a high quality camera. We get the best pictures we possibly can. And unlike traditional buy-to-let, photo of the room, photo of the outside, done. They need to be done in a way that's going to attract tourists. And to follow that up, we need great descriptions. We're creating experiences for people. It's not, it's got 2 bedrooms, 2 beds, done. It needs to be written in such a way that it pretty much excites people. People want to pick yours over one that's next door. We want the schedules looking as good online, making people excited that a property in a better area at a better price and bigger is more expensive. They still don't want to take it, they want to take yours because of what's in the listing and the experience that we're selling them prior to getting there. So we've got everything done, we've got the market, and we start attracting guests, and the final element to what we do is management. We make it totally hands off. We need to deal with this 24/7. We understand people that are investing in this type of investment probably have businesses, careers, families, other lives. They don't want to be going and doing the cleaning. So we do absolutely everything. You literally do not need to do anything. We drive all the traffic there. We deal with all the customer service. We deal with the financials, the booking deposits, the returning of the deposits, the check-ins, the check-outs, the cleaning, the laundry, the maintenance. Any guest requests, the guests get a 24-hour service. You don't actually need to get involved. I won't go into too much here because this is a separate video in itself and I will cover it. So search for our management services if you want to see this in more detail. And this is a very quick overview. This conversation, could be certainly a few hours to explain everything we do for the property sourcing service, and nobody's going to watch a video of me for 2 hours. So all that I want to say here is this is a quick snapshot. I want to pique your interest. I want to let you know that it isn't just as easy as selecting a property and putting it on. Get it wrong, it's going to cost you 4, 5, 10 times our fee. So it's well worth the fee. We make sure that value is added initially by getting you that off the purchase price, but you get so much more as well. And I hope in this video I've managed to articulate just exactly the key points that's included in this. So if you think this is of interest to you, you should feel that excitement thinking, yeah, I want to earn double, 3, 7 times what I would get in the buy-to-let. You're investing the same amount of money, you might as well get the maximum amount of return for the least amount of hassle possible. So if this is piquing your interest, give us a call at 01292 268 501. Speak to myself, Scott Weir, or pop me an email at info@pillowpartners.co.uk. We can send you over some literature. We'll get a quick meeting, a quick coffee, quick bit of lunch to try and find out exactly what you want to achieve. If it's not right for you, we will be honest about that. We only want to work with clients that have a passion for this, that we feel it's right for, and that are going to be happy with the end service and the returns they're getting. And it isn't for everybody. They want to just stick to the traditional buy-to-let because that's what they know. And you know what, that's fine as well. So thank you very much for listening. It's Scott from Pillow. I look forward to working with you in the future.